arm day is dead.
I couldn't disagree more with this. I couldn't. 18 and a half freaking inches without a pump.
When you get a bicep pump during arm day, it actually impedes your range of motion for triceps.
Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? These are the stupidest, tiniest little details being portrayed as if they make a difference. It drives me nuts. An average person, your biceps aren't getting in the way of your range of motion, whether they're pumped or not. Like, this is not a real point to make about arm training. You're just coming up with shit. You're just coming up with shit to make this more complicated than it needs to be. Holy fuck, man.
There is no functional reason to pair biceps and triceps on the same day. Chest and triceps have the pushing function, so a lot of exercises overlap. And when you do your chest work, it warms you up for triceps.
All right, listen. If you go through a whole bunch of sets of presses, all right, you're hammering that bench. And then at the end, you go to do, 5, 6 sets of tries. You think you're going to be just as strong with those tricep movements if you did them fresh? No. The muscle is fatigued and your central nervous system, your energy stores are depleted as well. Therefore, are you going to be able to move as much weight for as many reps in those tricep exercises as you would if you were fresh? No. Why is that important? In my experience, progressing the weight in your arm movements, even though there's these small little muscles, and for some reason we should treat them differently than every other muscle in your body, progressing the weight is going to produce the most growth, in my opinion. So you need to prioritize progressive overload. The best way to do that, those first 1, 2, 3 sets, when you're fresh, are when you're going to chase additional reps and weight, and that's going to produce the majority of your gains. In my humble opinion, this is what I've seen to be the most productive.
Biceps and triceps just don't heal at the same rates.
In my personal experience, I've never noticed that. To each his own. If you notice that, if you hit an arm day and you come back, 2, 3 days later to hit your arms again, and you're like, my tries are completely fried, but my bis are totally healed, then all right, fair enough. Maybe you do need to make an adjustment, but I've never heard that from anyone I've trained, and I've never experienced that myself. I think you're taking a tiny, small detail again, blowing it up to make it seem like it's something significant, to make a prescription that's more complicated than it needs to be, to get you to sign up for an app that you don't need.
So this is a program that's more or less pretty optimized, or one of the many, many programs optimized for arms. And you notice it kind of looks a little weird. Legs and biceps paired together. Sometimes we have, chest before triceps, sometimes after. It's wacky, but it makes sense because every muscle is hit, has time to heal. It's hit again, and it doesn't interfere with other muscles.
The prescription he gives is the wackiest split I've ever seen in my life. You're going to day 1, chest, triceps, side delts. Day 2, legs and biceps. Yeah, man, don't do an arm day, dude. If you want big arms, you gotta hit your legs and then do curls. Trust me. I'm science. Who thinks that's... Okay, and then you take a day off, and then you do back biceps. You do biceps after your back, side delts, and then we do triceps and chest, and then we do legs and thighs again, and then we rest. Okay, and so the idea here is that because the triceps heal so much more slowly than the biceps, we can't have them on the same day, and we're going to split them up in this way that's so scientifically optimized so that you hit your triceps twice and you hit your biceps thrice, and therefore you're going to stimulate the optimal amount of growth. So doing your tricep volume, you can just spread it throughout your split however you want to most efficiently time the stimulus with the recovery, disregarding the effect of at what point in that workout do you do those sets. I think that's proportionally way more important. So doing your triceps after you hit your chest, I think is extremely counterproductive if you're trying to prioritize arm growth. Like, I don't know, tell me that after hitting 8 sets of pressing movements, your triceps are ready to blast some freaking overhead dumbbell extensions. No. They're compromised, okay? And you may say, well, doesn't matter because I'm going to train hard and push to failure anyways. In my opinion, if you want to see the most growth, those first 3, 4, 2 to 4 sets of any session where you're chasing more reps with more weight so that over time, instead of doing 80 pounds for 10 reps, you can do 100 pounds for 10 reps. That's what produces most of the growth. Okay, I think we primarily agree upon that. Progressive overload. Therefore, when you're structuring your program to prioritize your arm growth, don't you want to train your triceps and your biceps fresh and rested, not compromised? Okay, after you do 10 sets of squats and leg extensions and whatever else, do you feel like you have a lot of energy to go do curls? No, you're afraid. You think you're going to get the most out of your biceps exercises to go and week after week progress that weight? No. You're going to be so active leg day. You're like dizzy. If you did a good leg day, you're dizzy, you're nauseous, you can barely walk. I'm supposed to go over there and get some productive bicep sets in? Ludicrous. In this case, you never hit your biceps fresh. You're either doing them after legs or you're doing them after back. You hit your triceps fresh once and the other time not fresh. To me, this is like, if you show me this split, I would be like, this is somebody that is just going for overall development. They're doing the opposite of prioritizing arm growth. Conversely, if you do an arm day, those first 2 to 4 sets, you're completely fresh. You warmed up. You're not hitting your freaking legs or your back or your chest before. So you can channel maximum amount of energy into moving as much weight with as much intensity as you can right at the beginning of the workout. And that's going to be so much more productive in producing more growth. Like, I would want to hear, like, did you do an arm day for an extended period of time, try a bunch of different training strategies, and then switch to this and this worked better? Then I'd be like, fair, man. I'm not going to disagree with something that you've practically applied to yourself for an extended period of time and reflected deeply, and it's very concrete that one approach works better than the other. I love that. But if you're just theoretically cooking this up based on these assumptions and principles that I completely disagree with and my experience is not aligned with at all, then I don't think it's actually constructive for people. And the reason it makes sense to train them together is because you can hit your triceps and then take a rest, and then hit your biceps and then take a rest, and then come back to your triceps so your biceps rest while you're hitting your triceps, and vice versa. Your triceps rest while you're hitting your biceps. Why does that matter? The more rest and recovery you can get in the session will allow you to have more productive sets where you push more weight for more reps, which is going to be highly correlated with your ability to gain muscle, in my experience. And not doing that, doing straight sets or doing shorter rest times fatigues the muscle more and doesn't allow you to push as much weight for as much reps and produces less muscle growth, in my opinion. So that's something for you to think about. Try anything that you think might work. To me, this does not sound like it would be more productive based on all my experience. But even given that, you could try it. Because don't knock something until you try it. Experiment with it. If it leads to more growth for you, hey man, maybe me and Dr. Mike need to have a freaking arm growth off, okay? Who can gain more mass on their arms in 3 months? You can follow this split that you're recommending. If you even do, follow it, document all of it. I'll do my arm days. You do this, and we'll see who can grow their arms more. How about that? All this yapping, all this complicated shit you're talking about, me saying that's wrong. Let's put it to bed. Let's have a freaking growth off, dude. Who can get more swollen? Check out my arm program, dude. I seriously believe it's the #1 resource on the internet for growing your pipes. It's based off of my own experience. There's nothing in there that didn't come from my own experimentation. It's just a regular dude who had an ambition to have big pipes, okay? If you don't like that, that's fair. If you want science, if you want complicated theories about what should work, then that's not for you. If you think that's meaningful, somebody's own practical experience, which has limitations as well. Sample size of 1, all right? I'm not getting examined by scientists. I'm just trying different stuff, assessing, reflecting on it, and then condensing it down to a program for you to get access to, lifetime access for $40 only to supersize your pipes. That sounds interesting to you. Go take advantage of it. Maybe do this split if you want to fuck yourself and have small arms. I don't know, man. Maybe it works. It sounds so nuts to me. Enough of that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.